Heck yeah. There we go. Any audio now? Can we get a whole bunch of thumbs up in the little chat here if we can hear me? All right, good deal. Just a reminder, not financial advice. The information on this channel is provided for education, informational purposes only, without any express or implied warranty of any kind, including warranties of accuracy, completeness, or fitness for any particular purpose. Okay, good stuff. Not a financial advisor. There's my disclaimer. We'll get rid of this. Hope you all had a good weekend. I was saying hello to everybody and speaking pretty much the entire intro, and probably didn't hear a single word I said. So, yeehaw. Just a reminder, there is some news today, or no news today, excuse me. We got a little bit of news throughout this week. So as we're going through and trading together this week, these are some things that we need to pay attention to and be thinking about in the U.S. session, as well as other sessions. But so on on Wednesday, we have the FOMC meeting minutes in the afternoon. This is at 1400 or 2 p.m. on Wednesday. So I'll be looking at the morning session, taking the minutes. The morning session might be okay. Let's see. Tomorrow we got some 10 p.m., 1:30 a.m. So tomorrow probably not really affecting the New York session very much. But the back half of the week, Thursday, unemployment. And then it looks like Friday's fairly unaffected as well. So a very light news week, I think, for this week. So that's fine. All right. What does this mean? What is going on? I think everything's okay. All right, let's keep going. All right, so I've got the NASDAQ, and I always try to provide some kind of value prior to doing these streams, and I've been doing the lives now on YouTube for a week straight now, and I've really been enjoying doing them. And I think probably the similar or same people show up every single day to this live, and that's okay because we can reiterate and talk about it together, and maybe it sparks something. You all hear something a different way, and it makes you better understand, or really in general, it's just good to hear it over and over again. So let's talk about some different types of templates and really the three things that markets do, because the templates are completely based off of the three things that markets do. So previous day's high and low, it could be a previous month's high and low. It could be a previous day's high and low, previous week. It doesn't matter because those levels create a box. All right. Previous day's high and low, even really the previous session's high and low, or the high and low of the current day, right? Those create a box. The levels are the box. And because the market only does three things: breakout, pullback, trend, breakout, fail to go, and reverse back towards the other side of the range, or just stay inside of a trading range. We could get peaks, and they're just sitting on the inside of a box, and that would be the trading range, right? So three things that markets do: breakout, pullback, trend, breakout, reverse, and fail, go to the other side of the range. So now we think about, okay, well, what are the templates that we're looking for? And one is, again, breakout, first red day, trade. All right, it's basically 3 and 4 bar patterns. We have first bar, second bar, third bar. Sometimes you'll have a breakout of, on bar 1, on day 1. You get your first red day, and then they trigger the low, but they don't follow through. And then the day after is the trade. So you could have a 4 bar pattern where you have bar 1, bar 2, bar 3 is the breakdown, and then bar 4 is the follow through or the continuation. 3 days of breakouts. We have overextended markets. You have instances where, and a lot of times I think probably the best trades that show up like this, they'll have been going up, right? And then there'll be a day that they trigger the previous day's low. And then from that, you get the 3 days of breakouts, all right? Triggering previous day's low is the beginning of the move. Then you get 3 days of breakouts. Market maybe gives a first red day or just a lower low on that day. And then you look for the continuation and the follow through going back down. Okay, you could also have 3 and 4 bar patterns where, again, they've been going up for an extended amount of time, or they've been going up in general. They trigger previous day's low, they pump it back up to the high, and then it reverses on that third day. So you would have a triggering of the low, a lower low, and then you have a retest of the high that maybe fails, and then on the third day or the third bar of the pattern, going back towards where the pump began. You can also have something kind of similar to this, but on the third day, maybe it triggers previous day's low, and then that's kind of an additional or extra signal that you could be looking for. You could also have oh gosh, the thing, price is moving, it keeps on messing with my box here. You could have a breakout day, so like breakout day 1, and then you could have maybe an inside bar or an inside day, and then follow through on the third day. So you'd have like peak formation high and a breakout day, and then an inside bar. So this would be bar 1, inside bar is bar 2, and then on the third day, bar 3, looking for follow through, looking for a continuation. You could have an inside bar. Maybe let's say that we've been going up and you get an inside bar at the high and they go back and stair step up into the high and that fails. And now we're going back towards the other side of the range, right? So there's a lot of different templates that you can look for. I would suggest maybe just finding your favorite. But to know what your favorite is, you have to know which templates to be looking for, which is why I continuously and just show them over and over and over again, because it's fairly easy for me to draw them. It's very easy for somebody to go back and just watch this recording over and over again and say, okay, well, these are the characteristics and these are the scenarios that I should be looking for or could be studying. Let me go back and study those. So hopefully that's helpful. Hopefully that's beneficial. But anyways, let's go into the NASDAQ. Okay, and we're going to look for some of those templates. The templates and just understanding the 3 things the markets do, and then watching and looking at the levels to figure out, do we actually have a trade today? Something that I will say about no news Mondays and just, light news weeks in general. Volume is going to feel very low. The moves might be very not as volatile. The market in general, maybe it moves the market on light volume, and it can be a little bit difficult to execute on and things like that. So just paying attention to that. I don't want to get caught in trading ranges. I want to only be trading in those 2 market conditions that are favorable to me, which are breakout, pullback, and trend, and also breakout, fail, and reverse back to the other side of the range. Like those are the only 2 conditions that I'm searching for. Things like oil that have been sitting inside of a trading range, not really as beneficial to me or as great. I'd really like to see closures and movement outside of this box. But anyways, let's go back to the NASDAQ and take a look. So we've had a breakout day on Thursday from last week. I'm going to zoom out a little bit. I'm on a 15-minute chart. This is the NASDAQ. Shaky, hello. Paulie, good morning to you. William, hello. Ackman, good stuff. How long has this thing been going up? So it's been going up for a little bit. We've got breakouts to the upside on a weekly level. So market's been going up. Good deal. Thursday closed in breakout. So I'm going to project that level across because we haven't gone any higher and we also haven't gone any lower. We haven't broken down. Okay. Thursday closed in breakout. Was this the first day? Yes, it was. So this was actually breakout day 1. We had the breakdown over here. Market go up. Market trigger previous day's low. Market go back for retest of high. Okay. So the idea behind this is we've been going up. They triggered the previous day's low. Whenever they make a new extreme in the opposite direction, they will always go back and at least try to go this way. So it's basically saying, okay, we've got a lower low. Are we capable of going higher? And they have. They've broken out, right? So it's given off a bunch of steam. It's trying. It's doing its best. Is it going to fail? Right. I don't know. It could succeed. We break out. We pull back. We continue to trend. Great. The reason I point that out is because I would be looking for it to fail. That is when these really ideal, beautiful, perfect setups show up. We get the triggering, the retest fails, and it goes vertical. And those are going to be the strongest or some of the strongest moving trades that you can find. Okay. So all that being said, do I think it's going to fail today? I have no idea. I would be waiting for it to do that though. Okay, breakout day 1, Friday. Friday is a first red day. Friday is an inside bar. So what would I be looking for today in order to try and assume or associate what I have here and what I've said here with an actual setup? How would I say, hey, this is doing what I would expect? I just use the market, the structure of the market. I would either look for lower lows and lower highs to be getting put in place and the market to continue to break down after 9:30. I would look for them to have broken out of the previous day's low and pulled back, opening 9:30 to go lower. I would be looking for them to have triggered the previous day's low, popped back up and gone into consolidation for the vertical continuation to go lower. Those are the situations. I would be looking for them to be going back to the high of the day and failing to go higher, because that would be basically the box, right? The high and low of the current day goes back to the high of the day and fails and reverses. Those are the types of situations that I would look for to help me confirm that this setup is actually presenting. So if I don't get that, I can just move on about my day. Let's see. Hey, can you highlight a closed in breakout? Oh, yeah. Here we go. This is closing in breakout right here. Previous day's high, previous day's low. It's closed outside of that box. Opening, or it's a breakout. Looking for NASDAQ to have a pump on the open, and then let's see. Okay, good. Yeah, so we've got the high of the day up here. Let's go to a 5-minute chart. I do have a very objective way of looking at structure, which is beneficial and very useful, and it's fairly accurate as well. You know, there's never going to be 100% accuracy. The market's going to do whatever it's going to do, but I have found that style of looking at structure is very useful. So right now we're kind of just in a trading range. We're in between a high and a low, high and low of the current day. We're just sitting in a box. So I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait and see the levels. It is 9:30 right now, so I kind of need to skedaddle a little. Let's try and get through this. Okay, US 30 again has been going up. US 30 has not triggered previous day's low, unlike the NASDAQ, which has. Thursday, we've got at least 3 days of breakouts, so I'm going to highlight that. At least, minimum, right? And then we've gone back and retested the high over here, but we still have not broke down. There is no breakdown. We've only been breaking out and going higher. This is still an inside first red. And we've triggered previous day's high today, which is good. All right, I would be looking for this to break down. Since we've triggered the level after an inside bar, they gapped it up, and they've gone back to the high in 3 peaks. Peak 1, peak 2, peak 3, higher high, lower low. This is a decent. I need to hurry up. Okay, 3 peaks, lower low, lower high, retest of the high. I should probably have already, yeah, whatever. All right, gold. This is that template. There's the high, there's the lower low, the test or the breakout of the previous day's low after a market's been going higher. Okay, and then inside bar, and then the follow through today. We've gone back to the low and broke down or broke out. I'm gonna have to wait on this one. I know, rub it in, Shaky. Just rub it in. Just joking. All right, Russell. Market go up. 3 days breakouts. Trigger previous day's low. Attempted to go back to the high. Also, first red day, breakout day 1 to the downside on Friday. We popped it back up and gone sideways. 5-minute chart. Looking for the short. Looks like we've broken down and made lower lows, lower highs. This is very similar to US 30. And then there's oil. I think you all probably can tell which one I am probably most likely to be observing. Oil is a big no because of the trading range. I'm still waiting. I've got the Russell. I've got US 30 up here. Oh, we're getting a little bit of volatility. Okay. Yeah. Sure. Think, okay. Yep. Things are a little bit volatile, but no big deal. Actually, it looks volatile, but is it actually? 50 pips, 50 pip 5-minute bar. A bar that attempted to go back to the high. It's got potential. It's a really big 5-minute bar going down. This is also the first 5 minutes of the New York session. I've just looked at a different news calendar, and it's telling me that there's news at 10. But that's interesting because I just showed you all. Well, now I'm not sure. I'm going to go back and double check. On Forex Factory, Monday, July 7th, which is today, it is showing no news. Okay. You're out. Well, Shaky, that was a pretty large down move. I don't know if you had to hold through this pullback or whatever, but this was nice and explosive. So hopefully, maybe did you get out at levels? What is this, low of day? Low of day and closing price. This is them. They've pulled back the bow. Are they shooting the arrow now? Are we going to shoot the arrow down? Gotcha. Makes sense, Shaky. That makes sense. Makes a lot of sense. What is gold doing? Okay, so yeah, gold was. I'm really not focused on gold at all, just because this breakout here. The only setup that I could look for is breakout pullback. This is just not one of the things that I think I'd really want to take a part of. At least not today, right? This 3-day opportunity, though, it's already completed the pattern, and is what I'm really trying to say. This lower low, day one, lower low, right? Inside bar, the follow through was in Asia. That was the setup. Now I'd have to be looking for something else. Okay, if this doesn't continue to break down or continue to follow through, then, I mean, that's fine. I just know not to take a part of it. Yeah, gold is a mess. Bar coding, I agree. Creeping. Every time it makes a new low, it pulls back immediately. It could be leading to an explosive move, but on a no news Monday, might be a little scary. One thing I don't like about how the index is opened is now they've created a high and a low, basically the opening range for the session, first 5 minutes, possibly first 15. They've created this high and low, and it's going to be debatable. Are they going to continue to open and close bars on the inside of that high and low for how long? How long are we going to stay inside of there? Because it could just turn into a very messy, choppy session, and I don't want to take part in that. Okay, US 30 showing a little bit of evidence now that maybe we're trapping some shorts. Okay, the Russell looks a little weaker, but it's not following through yet, so I can't confirm that to myself. US 30, big opening drive that immediately gets soaked up and reversed off of, not allowing this guy to get out. Trying to get more people to short, immediately getting soaked up and reversing. It's almost like they're squeezing the shorts out. So I would need to be very, 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 very careful trying to execute on something like that. Okay, it is making lower lows and lower highs, which is what I'm looking for, but the follow through just isn't there, so I can't do anything with that. Okay, NQ, is the breakout going to succeed? Is it going to fail? Okay, big down close bar, right back to where this one closed. Okay, so possibly, and then immediately getting soaked back up again. I don't know how this bar is going to close, but there's evidence now that possibly we're trapping shorts. All right. I don't know, on the NASDAQ, we could be trapping longs because of the, we've got big up close bars, 1 bar, 2 bar, 3 bar, immediate reversal off the low, lower low, pop back up. This bar doesn't go any higher than these. I should be paying attention to that and watching that, thinking about that. Who is trapped? Where and why? Nikolai, we've already broken down on US 30. We've triggered the previous day's high as well, which sets the stage for the reversal back down to previous day's low. I'm waiting for the follow-through. If there's going to be follow-through, I'm looking for evidence that longs are trapped. They've done their work in the pullback to essentially screw everybody. Convince, trap, trigger in longs. And then I would be looking for them to follow through to start allowing these people, anybody who's short this down move, anybody who's short this bar, I would be waiting for them to put these people back into profit, allow them to make money. And that's where I would feel the most comfortable getting in. Because right now, I think I just explained that on my other screen. Goodness gracious. Allowing this guy to get in. Okay. Allowing anybody who sold this down move to get it, or this bar here, this big drive off the open, I would want to see follow through to allow those people to get in. I'd seriously leave it alone now. For right now, absolutely. I totally agree, and I'm going to. And the way that this is compressing down here, drive, 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 and then now maybe we're squeezing back up. You better believe I'm going to be holding on or holding out. And especially what I was saying earlier about the opening range for the session, basically the first 5 minutes, the first 15, they've created, especially on a no news Monday, right? We've created a high and a low. We're just sitting on the inside of there. If they keep opening and closing bars without leaving that range, there's a higher probability of a session being choppy, right? A little bit of a barcode session, which obviously I don't want to be a part of. We had that big explosive move right off the open, and now they've hooked in both sides. We got people going long, we got people going short, and now we're just sitting in the middle, which, if you're in that, is very frustrating. Okay, NQ squeezing off the low of the day a little bit. And we do have a down closed bar in an up moving market. Normally I take that from previous day's close, like that's a viable setup that I'd be allowed to take. If there was a pattern, and if it was making higher highs and higher lows. Right now it's not. I would also need some kind of like ascending triangle or something like that. Kind of like I did on Friday. But I'm not seeing that now. Okay, we've just opened another 5-minute bar, and we still have not left the first 5 minutes range. You took that trade on US Swiss today. Ackman. Let's go take a look. Oh, someone said BTC as well. You didn't remind me. You got to remind me. I always forget, right? We'll use gold screen since gold is barcoding. US Swiss. Go pop in there, take a look. Let's see, what'd you get? Oh, Ackman, are you referring to the first red day trap? So basically like breakout, like first red, coming off the close, looking for the squeeze. Is that what you took with that assumption or with that belief? The ascending triangle, nice. Did you catch it in London? Very nice. Yeah, because that's what immediately drew my eye. Because I think that I likely would not have been willing to take it down here. But after it starts making higher highs and higher lows, and then you get the breakout for the squeeze, it looks really good. And you're consolidating just below previous day's low. Or high, excuse me. Goodness gracious. All right, BTC. Hold on. I'm watching to see how we're looking on the US 30 here. Let's go down, we'll get BTC up here. Still on the inside of that high and low from the beginning of the session. BTC, Bitcoin. Go back over here. Why does this thing keep looking so strange? That's because it's crypto, I know, but because of the weekend up here, it's messing with everything. I am long on or short on US 30. I'm thinking I'm probably going to get stopped out though, which is fine because I'm in first position, no add-ins. So I'd rather get stopped out now than once I start adding in. Let's see if they keep dragging people down. If it's just a small, like a micro pullback, they put another bar back up and then it reverses before it gets back to the high and rolls over again, that'd be good. If it just goes back up and stops me out, that's fine. And I took it on very low risk on purpose because we have not left this range and because I'm worried about the trap, which is exactly what potentially might be happening right now. Do I swing trade? No. Maybe like an intraday swing, but not over multiple days. All right, so I'd really like to see it break. It'd be nice to see a break and close below this low from 932. But I'm starting to feel like that's really not going to happen. The way that they've crept back down here and immediately reversed off the low. Not looking too good. Also looking at the NASDAQ, we got 1, 2, 3. Immediate reversal off the 3. We got low or the higher lows being put in and a squeeze off of that low. Of course, this is the NASDAQ and I'm short on US 30, so it doesn't really matter, but yeah, we're getting stopped out here. Good. All right, so thought process. We had the low, pulled back, attempted to go lower, and then we had the 1 bar attempt to go back up, and then the follow through. So we're still making lower lows and lower highs, right? This bar looked pretty good into a new 15-minute bar. We're coming into a new hour, and then it's rolling over to continue into the new hour. So I took it and immediately got stopped out. So I'm gonna wait probably till after 10, see if another opportunity arises. If not, then I'm just going to move on. Three peaks, lower low, first pullback, consolidation. Yeah, Paulie, I think that was I think that's a new feature. But I'm right there with you. I just noticed that it started doing it today, and I'm already over it. If it isn't broke, stop trying to fix it. You know what I mean? Like, how many more places do I need to see the value? You know, how many more places do I need to find that information? I can put it up here. I can have it here on the screen. I can do, oh my gosh. I can look over here. Hey, Ed, good morning. Morning. Okay, Russell. Initial drive off the low. We've had attempt 1, attempt 2, attempt 3 engulfment on that third attempt. I agree, it's annoying. Yeah, if y'all find it, let me know. I'm sure you can turn it off. I mean, I would really hope. Let's see. I think we've got about like 50 or 60 of you in here right now. Let's see. How do I do this? Nice. Here we go. Let's see what everybody thinks. Look at this. We're still on the inside of the high and the low. They're still trapping. Same thing here. The only one that has finally made it out is the Russell. This is a 1 minute chart making lower lows and lower highs. They've just made a higher high in a 1 minute. Yeah, I know, Beats. I'm really just creating a fuss for no reason, I'm sure. What was the thing the other day? It's been a while now, but they added that like I pulled up my trading view the other day and it was the electronic trading hours like automatically put up on the screen. And I was begging you all to please help me figure out how to turn it off because it was just this big colorful thing in my background is freaking me out. What do I think about oil? I don't even have it up on the screen right now because it was still... It's got potential coming up soon, I have a feeling. Like if we start getting closures outside of this box, that'd be great. But I want to get a template outside of like previous week's high as well. That'd be good. Like if we break out of previous week's high, that'd be great. Even for a reversal setup, I would still be fine with that. I just need to see levels get triggered and stop being in consolidation. So I haven't even been looking at a template for oil until that starts happening. Oh, I agree, Beats. 100%. 100%. Their charting is so good. Just user friendly as well. I like that. BTC. I'm on a 5 right now. a breakout close. Market making lower lows and lower highs. Looks like we're maybe about to make a higher high. Breakout pullback, 3 levels of drop. The only thing that's unfortunate is the timing, right? Because normally I would have wanted to see or looked for low, high, lower low, higher high, first pullback, looking to get in the first pullback or as it's pulling to go higher, something like that. So timing wise, it's kind of unfortunate because it's 10 o'clock. There is no new extreme. There's no higher high for me to go off of. So I would have to just guess and say, well, this is probably the bottom. But I would be going long in a market making lower lows and lower highs. Yes, the overall market made this higher high, sure. But that's just not how I do things, right? I wait for it on the day itself to start making higher highs and higher lows, and then I try to get in. Big fan of trading views, so am I. I am too. And probably a less common or, something that probably not as many people would agree with. I was a big fan of MetaTrader as well. It had this old, like, clunky feel to it, and I liked it. Felt like I was trading on an old Excel spreadsheet, but it was nice. I don't know why. It wasn't user friendly at all. It was, if you were newer, a bit new, trying to find things was miserable. But I enjoyed it. I was kind of sad to see it go. Interesting. Very interesting. How does timing affect BTC? It would have to be the same. It's new hour opens, new 15-minute bar. It's all the same timing. All right, we've got 2 minutes and 50 seconds on this bar. I am hydrated. I'm coming right back. Apparently, I walked out as soon as US 30's collapsing. Good stuff. I used to use MT5. Is the mic still on? Is the mic on? There we go. Yeah. Cool. Yeah, I liked MT5. I never used MT4. I don't think. Oh, is this going to be another... Is this going to be like a wedge bottom fake out? I don't know. Why do you say that, Shaky? I mean, I don't disagree. But and also we're still on the inside of a high and a low. The opening range for this session, it just cannot get out of there. Appreciate that 4K. It just feels like it's really, really doing everything it can to jam people in down low. There's a bit of a divergence too on the the index is why. Yeah, this one's got a lower low. This one's got a lower low. But as far as like how things are behaving, it seems odd. We got the engulfment. We got a pin hammer. And by engulfment, I don't mean, a 1, 2, 3 engulfment. I'm just talking about, I probably should call it a breakout bar. We've got a bar that has closed higher than this bar's high. I still have no orders in. I still don't have any positions in. If I did, it would have to be US 30 based off criteria. How many hours a day beats? Oh gosh, hold on. I'll tell you about that in a second. All right, we're popping back up a little. For those of you, maybe I haven't explained it well enough. I probably have, but for a visual, this is our box right now. All right, the first 5 minutes of the session open, they put in a high and a low, and we're just sitting on the inside of there. Very easy to manipulate, right? Think about who's short this bar now, but we're all just on the inside of a high and a low, so it could be easily manipulated. If they come off of this low and go back up, we could pull back for a little bit, and then it rolls over, gets back to the low, it doesn't actually follow through, pulls back again. It's a no news Monday. How much follow through are we really going to get? Or are they just going to work the range? I don't know for sure. But at least with US 30, we've got the low of the day down here, and it's far away. No, because I think what's more frustrating than showing up and saying objectively, performance wise, right? You show up, you say, all right, I'm prepared to take a trade if this happens, this shows up, it doesn't happen, and then you don't take a trade. Like, do you get mad at the market for that? No. Do you get mad at yourself for that? No. Now, if you show up and you say, I'm prepared to take this trade if this happens and that happens, it happens, and then you underperform and you don't execute, then that's a problem that I would have to review. But, just not taking a trade is not bad at all. Not even a little bit. Okay, we're about to get a break of that initial low. Are they going to work it or are they going to actually follow through? That is a big question. Yeah, you take care, Shaky. Yeah, they just work down into it, and then there's no follow through. It's like they're working the low. So I don't know if it's actually going to follow through. I think that once you get beat up enough times, 4K, and I'm not saying that I'm certainly not saying that to do that with live money. But once you get beat up enough times and you see what works and what doesn't, and you realize that the less trades that you take, taking less trades when the trade isn't there is good. Taking less trades when there's plenty of opportunity is a performance issue. So if you're not taking trades because it's just not there, that's fine. But if my setup shows up and I don't execute, like I said, that's whatever. Like I'll take a loss. I already took a loss today. I don't care. Lower lows, lower highs, engulfment. I managed the risk. I didn't add in. If I wouldn't have accepted the loss and I started adding into a loser, I would have lost a whole bunch. But I lost pretty much nothing. Maybe trapping the shorts, trying to fill the gap. Maybe. Maybe. And the way that this is broke out, they brought price from up high to down low very quickly, brought it right back down to the low, and then lost momentum. It's a little trappy. Stop and reevaluate. Maybe don't flip your thesis, but go into it with if it is going to go, I just timed the trade wrong and I need to wait another 15 minutes or maybe another hour. If I take another loss, then it's just not happening today. Maybe it's just not. Maybe I'm looking at the wrong thing, or the conditions aren't right. Like today, for example, maybe it's not going to follow through because there's no news. There's nothing actually driving this move. It's just we're sitting on the inside of a high and a low, and we're just going to have a narrow range consolidating day. Okay. There's not any crazy thing that has happened that has caused that to be, it's a very normal day. And I just have to accept it. Where you get into trouble is you don't accept it and you just keep going. Look at this. They're edging. They're just kind of barely touching it. Just kind of sitting down here. They're poking into it. Maybe it'll follow through. Maybe it won't. But this is what tends to happen when you get these wicks. They'll come down here and they'll work it for a little bit, poke into it, do this and do that with it, and then it just won't go anywhere. Okay, here's a little follow through. At least outside of the range. Maybe not necessarily follow through, but we've gone outside of the range. Now we're going to see, is it going to fail? Yeah, absolutely 4K. Absolutely. That is what I'm here for. Let's see here. All right, I've added into my short. But I think I need to take a little bit off. We're at the low of the day. All right, I'm taking some off. We're gonna see if it fills the gap and goes for low of previous day. If not, I'm getting stopped at break even. Okay. I started getting in. Started to follow through. I added in, taking some off at the low of day. Okay, so from initial position to drive, right? And now we're getting the follow through, hopefully to complete the pattern, finish the move. It could be, especially if you trade my, I see your message. If you're trading currency pairs and you've got 30 plus pairs to look at, if you've only got 5, I would say it's probably easier just to do it manually. 5, 10 pairs. I like just doing it myself, to be honest. I don't like trusting the scanners and trusting this and trusting that. I trust myself. Yeah, I don't really like how they're working down here at the low. And then pulling back. I'm probably going to get stopped out at break even. God bless, Mr. Mustang. See you tomorrow. Why do I still have Bitcoin up here? What's going on with that? There we go. Probably trade till about 10:30 today. I had one loss, one win, which I scaled into and then closed partials. No, Joseph, I haven't seen one that. I mean, you can find them that do like inside bars and things like that. First red and first green. I don't know if that's really a. Honestly, I think it's probably just better just to do it yourself. How hard is it really to scan through and just say, hey, that's good, that's bad? Get the practice in, seeing more patterns every single day. Should only take 5-10 minutes max. We're just kind of creeping down through that low. And every time I inch it lower, it makes a new low, it immediately wicks down or pulls back. which is kind of frustrating, but no news Monday. All right, let's take a look at this poll. You like the new values feature on TradingView. 61% of you said yes. Oh. Okay. I'll take that. I'll take it. I'm the one that sucks. Just kidding. Kinda. Inside day. Which one? A little double inside. Haven't seen. I think earlier this year we had like a triple. Wasn't it like a triple inside day? Yeah, and that's the big reason that I'm so kind of focused on this right now. So if any of you have listened to me before, when you get an inside bar, one of the things that I search for directly, I'm very directly state and look for and say, hey, this is what I'm looking for a reversal is the price action on the day. I like to see a stair step back into a level. So when it's this beautiful, we've got a really clean 3 peaks and the lower low and the first pullback. This was my main focus. On a 5-minute chart, this looks good. On a 1, it's very frustrating because it just keeps on dipping a little bit lower and coming back, and then dipping a little bit lower and then coming back, instead of just following through. Which sometimes it will just eventually follow through, but other times it does that. It means that it's setting up for a squeeze in the other direction, and I don't want to be a part of that. Can you trade futures on phone without laptop? I don't see why not. I don't trade on my phone though, so I don't know. I only ever use my laptop. Anyone know how to remove it yet? Let's figure it out. Because you're right, it is status line. All right, Sebastian, you have a good one. I appreciate that. I'll see you tomorrow, hopefully. Titles. Well, I've just removed the titles from the status line. I actually don't see anything different. So we'll just, we'll do this. Scales and lines. Plus, okay. Days of week on label. Okay. I'm watching US 30 on my other screen. It's moving and consolidating, moving and consolidating. I don't have another place that I should be able to, enter in more with size. I'd like to scale back in, but if it's not going to make me feel comfortable, then I'm just not going to do that. Trading. Execution's good. Bracket, bro. Okay, whatever. Events, maybe? Maybe it's events. No. We haven't nobody's figured it out. Hey, unfortunately, I think Google is going to be your best resource on that one. I don't trade with a phone. I'd love to help, but I don't know. I'm not well informed. Just like I'm not well informed on how to turn this thing off. Let's see. What are they? 21 more values. Okay, we got indicators up there. Values for price. Open, high, low, close of bars. I mean, surely, right? Surely they would give you a setting that you can turn that off. And I'm just missing it. I'm still watching everything as I'm trying to figure this out. Gold, we're still just sitting inside of a high and a low. It's popped back up though. Breakout. Oh, it's made a higher high. So I wouldn't be able to take the short anyways. I would need to see it break back down. Big explosive 1, and then a pause, and then a 2 and a 3. Oh, lower low. Wait, what's this? Russell? First red day, lower low. Pops back up. On the day, made this lower low. Goes back to the high. The high failed. We have a close lower. It's broken back down. We haven't gone sideways. Peak formation low. I would have to go with the belief that there's people caught or trapped above here. Prop. I've never had anybody come in here and ask me to do that. So no, I'm also not associated with any prop firms, so it's not something I would normally do. Let's see here. It's interesting that they've gone. Normally, I'd like to see this if we get a lower low and then a higher high that fails. I'm fine with this. I just like to see it when they trap, it breaks down. I want to see it kind of go sideways for a few bars. Because right now, it's kind of done one of these. And it's curled. I don't like that curl. I like to see it pop down, go sideways for a little bit, decide, and then follow through. When it does this, it feels kind of bow and arrow like they're pulling it back. It retests the low violently, aggressively, fast. Immediately fails at the low, goes, and then it comes back up. I'm going to keep watching it. No News Monday. We've got 3 minutes until I'm kind of just coming to the conclusion that I need to come back tomorrow. We'll come back tomorrow, Tuesday, second day of the week, looking for something that expands the range of Monday. Some kind of trend opportunity. If there is one. What is Russell looking like on the one? Not that the one really holds much relevance, but a little micro head and shoulders. Look at this. Little neckline. What's cool is I've put where I believe people to be trapped. Remember I said I think people probably trapped above here? I was looking at a 5-minute chart and I drew that. If you go down here, that was pretty accurate because this is the neckline now for the head and shoulders. So I think that's a valid statement. If there's longs trapped, they're trapped above that line. Okay, how to turn off new trading view values feature. Floating data window. How to disable it. You can disable this feature by toggling it on or off from the cursor type menu located. Let's see. Cursor type menu located in the left toolbar. It hurts. It hurts so bad. Where's that? What is that? Please don't make fun of me. If you all are in here right now, just bear with me. I'm trying to figure this out. For those of you that are in here, if you didn't know this, you can. This is something that's pretty cool. You can go and you can look up all the keyboard shortcuts if you're somebody that's interested in this techie stuff. You got it? How'd you do it? Top icon on left toolbar. What left toolbar? Am I clicking the right one? Right click. This hurts. Where are your tools? Oh, so I need to put that toolbar up there. That's what you're saying. So I need to put the drawing panel up there. And then you're saying the cursor. Ah. It's fixed. It is done. Ladies and gentlemen of the chat, I have figured it out. With your all's help, of course. All right, so to do this, for everybody that was wondering how to turn that off, for that small percentage of you that also thought it was annoying, go into your drawing toolbar, and you can click this little arrow right here. And it's this one right here. You can just turn that off. We've accomplished one thing today. Good stuff. All right, I'm going to get rid of this because I don't like seeing this panel over here. There we go. Okay, this is broken down, but it's not. We got a little sideways here. It's gone a little sideways, but nothing crazy. No, the toolbar, not the menu. Yeah, I'm glad we got that. Glad we got that figured out. So I was watching US 30. I don't know if you saw me kind of pointing at the bars, but we got one bar coming back down, stopping the momentum. The follow through on this bar here, and then this is the biggest bar going down. They keep dragging the shorts lower, but also it's just not really moving the way that I would expect. There's just not a lot of follow through. It kind of just feels very trappy, you know? Like the moment I enter, they're going to suck me in. I don't like feeling that way. I don't like feeling that way at all. How far is that? That's not very far away either. What about previous day's low? How far is that? That's a little better. Whether or not it'll get there, I don't know. One win at a time, yeah. You would have to translate them, Mama. But because the markets are fractal, it doesn't matter what concept or fact that we're speaking about the market, because these concepts or these setups are based off of three things that markets do: failed breakouts, trend continuations, and three bar patterns and 3-day patterns and 4-bar patterns, which you can really look up extensively if you go look up Toby Crable. He talks very extensively with a lot of data about 3, 4, 5, 6, 7-day patterns, narrow range days leading to large range days, etc., etc. He even, back in the 90s, is when he wrote the book, used different words to describe first red and first green days, inside bars, all of that. Last Tuesday's low possible for, let me go. I think in hindsight, Joseph, that'd be like one of those hindsight moments where I'd say, oh, look, they went back and got the breakout traders from Tuesday. On a normal day-to-day basis, what would I be actually like looking for them to do? Because of the way the chart is currently set up right now, and they have not triggered the previous day's low anywhere over here. But this was an inside bar, and they triggered the high of the inside bar. The target is really supposed to be previous day's low, because it's triggering inside bar traders in at the high, and then getting in, and then holding it to go stop out the breakout traders at the low. Toby Crable. Yep. With a B. Yeah. I don't think I've ever been so interested in a book. A trading book. It's probably one of the only trading books that was actually like beneficial to trading for me. There's lots of others that, teach you this and that, but it's real basic stuff. Kind of easy to get, patterns and whatnot, but understanding periods of contraction leading to expansion and the setups, he puts it really well into perspective in that book. US 30 is still yeah. Yep. US 30 still just creeping down. And this is what I'm talking about. Down move, pause, down move, pause, down move. It's kind of a lot of reevaluation going on. It just keeps on pausing, which is fine, but it just makes me feel like it's trapping. That's why whenever that happens, I feel like it's trapping, and we're going to shift away in one big bar. Yeah, BTMM is really good as well, but the thing with a lot of these newer systems is when you start reading the older books, you realize where the source came from for a lot of the newer systems, and it makes me just, it makes you really want to just focus on the source. Because everything today came from somewhere, right? It doesn't matter what system. All of them. Smart money concepts, all that stuff. It all came from and has been renamed from the older stuff. All right. 10:39. So this is about the time that I usually am just going to call it quits. Okay. And it's good. It's good too, because what is this other than I'm going to have to guess? We've stayed inside of the first 5-minute bar the entire session. I can't do anything with that. Now, I did have a failed trade here and then a successful trade here. Up a little. Not a lot. Nothing to write home about for sure, but the reason I chose this is because it met the criteria. We got a higher high, we got a lower low. We're in the first pullback. And unlike the NASDAQ, this felt like it was actually breaking down and it was starting to follow through. And it did, a little bit. Gold, I had no idea. I've just had it up on the screen as a placeholder. The Russell was very similar to US 30 and what I was waiting for. Except the Russell had triggered previous day's low. So instead of being an inside bar on this day here, which the US 30, it's just a slight difference in the template. It was a first red inside. This is a first red lower low down close bar. All right, and a breakout day 1 that also has made a lower low on the day and popped back up, but it broke down and it just really didn't go sideways and follow through. The timing, it's a little later in the session. It's just not following through right now. And it's doing it in a very odd way. Very low momentum. All right, ladies and gentlemen, great live stream today. I hope it's been beneficial and useful, even if it's just, getting to come in here, get you maybe feeling a little more cool, calm, and collected. Hoping that, all 50 to 100 of you that hang out in here every single day, it is improving you some way, shape, or form. So I'm going to do this again tomorrow and probably the rest of this week. We're going to be doing these live streams into the foreseeable future, I'd like to think. I'd like to just keep doing them for as long as they're fun to me. But I think I'm going to get out of here. I think I need to go work out. I need to go lift some weights, and then I might go do some kayaking. I think kayaking sounds fun today. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, you have a great rest of your day. Have a great, safe day. And I'll see you tomorrow, same time, 9:15 a.m. Eastern Time. Ready to go, ready to trade. Should be good. See you tomorrow.